Hi friends, my name is Usmansheikh, and in this video I am going to perform the lab of VTP modes. For this purpose I have to select 3 of switches and connect these switches with the help of crossover cable. And now I'll go to switch 1, enable show VTP status. You can see by default the switch is in server mode and all other switches are also in server mode. So I'll hold this switch in server mode, but in second switch I'll change its mode, enable show VTP status, and you can see it's server mode. Now I'm going to change its mode, VTP mode, client. There are 3 modes of VTP: server mode, client mode, and transparent mode. It's a second mode, VTP mode client, and you can see the message appear here: setting device to VTP client mode. Now do show VTP status, and it's showing that the operating mode is client. I have to change. Okay, now I'll change the switch 3 mode with the transparent mode. Enable configuration terminal and VTP mode transparent. Okay, its mode change to transparent. Show VTP status. You can see it's transparent. Okay, now what is the difference between server mode, client mode, and transparent mode? Check it. I'll go to server. A switch is a server. You can see. Now I'll configure the VLAN over this switch, VLAN 2. Okay, now name any one of the name, like as CCNA. Okay, show VLAN to check the command. Is a command to check VLAN, and you can see the second VLAN is created here. VLAN number 2, name CCNA, and it's active. Okay, now I'll go to the switch having the mode client mode and create VLAN 2, and you can see the message VTP VLAN configuration not allowed when device is in client mode. So it means you are not allowed to VLAN creation over the switch which is having mode of client. Client mode is the mode which receives the information from server and change in its database. On client mode, we cannot create a VLAN, or we cannot delete VLAN over client mode. Okay, first of all, now I will create a VLAN over transparent switch, configuration terminal, and VLAN 2. You can see it's creating VLAN name any one of the name, like as CCNA is name CCNA. Okay, I'll go to the switch 1 and create a trunk link on this interface. configuration terminal, and interface fast Ethernet 0/1, switch port mode trunk. Okay, now on the next switch, and interface fast Ethernet 0/1 and switch port mode trunk. Now on the next interface is the next interface 0/2 0/2 oh sorry interface fast Ethernet 0/2 and switch port mode trunk. Now on the next switch and create a trunk of fast Ethernet 0/2 which is connected to switch. Interface fast Ethernet 0/2 switch port mode trunk. Okay, now you can see that I don't have to create VLAN over this switch. Now I'm going to check either it's showing VLAN or not. VLAN, show VLAN. It is not showing VLAN because the switches are not in one domain, and that's why the VLAN not moves from server to client. So what is domain? All the switches which are the part of one domain from one name are communicate to each other. So I will choose any one name of the domain over server boot, and with the help of domain the data of VLAN will move from via trunk link from one switch which is server to client switch. Okay, now I'll go to server switch and configure VTP domain. VTP domain, any one of the name. I will put Cisco. Okay, now you can see by default there is no domain over the switch, and now the domain is from null to Cisco. You can check show VTP status. Its domain is Cisco. Okay, now I'll check again over the switch to show VLAN. First of all, show VTP status, and you can see I don't have to configure any configuration over this switch. It's just received from server. You can see that the domain name is Cisco, and I have to configure domain over the server mode. So it's showing here server mode sends the information towards the clients, and clients receives the information and change in its database. Okay, now show VLAN, and now it's showing VLAN. Okay, now go on to the transparent and check whether its domain is changed or not. Show VTP status, and you can see that there is no VTP domain because the transparent switch receives the information, sends the information, either it's receive the information from server and not change in its database. That's why there is no domain name here. So I'll create another VLAN over my server switch, like as configuration terminal VLAN 3, name IT. Okay, now I'll check it whether it is applied or not, and you can see two of the VLANs are created here in server, and in client it's moved automatically. Now I'll check whether it is in transparent or not. Show VLAN. There is no VLAN in it. There is no VLAN 3 in it. Okay, it sends the information, either it receives the information from server. Now is it right or not? I will put an other switch to verify that is it sends the information, either it receives the information or not. So for this purpose I have another switch and connect these two switches. Now I'm going to change its mode client, and you can see that enable show. So first of all create trunk link over this switch is 0/1. So configuration terminal interface fast Ethernet 0/1, switch port mode trunk is up. Now on the next is transparent. Now on the client is server. I will change its mode to client. Configuration terminal and interface fast Ethernet 0/1, switch port mode trunk. Okay, now I'll change its mode. First of all, check its table, check its show VTP status. Show VTP status, and you can see it's server and there is no domain because a server is in server mode. Now I'm changed to it in client mode. Configuration terminal VTP mode client, and show again show VTP status. You can see that is from server to client. Okay, now I will change its domain name. VTP domain. Domain name was CCNA. You can verify. VTP status, show VTP status. Its domain name is CISCO. Okay, I'll change a domain name with the CISCO, and you can see it's null from CISCO. Now check is show VTP status, and you can see I don't have to configure domain name. I don't have to configure VLAN. I'll put the VLAN command show VLAN, and it's showing there are two VLANs. I don't have to configure VLAN over this switch. It receives the VLAN from server, sent from server. So we have to prove that transparent switch sends the information, either it receives the information and not changing its database. Okay, hope you understand. Thanks for watching.